Hey everyone, thanks for joining us so far today. We'll wait just 2 more minutes for the last few folks to join in and then we'll get started. Thanks again for your patience. All right, thanks everyone for joining today. My name is Justin Dyke with Tualatin Valley Water District. We're here for a virtual open house about the Circle A water main replacement project. We've got a couple folks on the line, and as we all stream in with our TVWD team, we'll get going. We aim to keep it pretty short and sweet today, and mostly because we recognize that everyone's got a busy day ahead of them, and we want to thank you for taking a few minutes out of your day to talk with us about this project. Want to also note that this is being recorded. That way we can host it on our YouTube channel after we're done. That way anyone who's in the neighborhood who's not able to make it today can watch the presentation at a later date. So also please mute yourself if you're, and we'll have time for questions and answers at the end. There's also a chat function. Please feel free to type in any questions as they come to you in the chat, and we'll get through those once we're done. I only have a couple of short slides today, so hopefully it doesn't take us very long to cover everything. Oh, sorry about that. So to start off with, I'd like to introduce our project team quickly. This project was all pulled together through our project manager, Sarah Alton. She's a professional engineer. And myself and Justin Dyke. I'm in the bottom left corner there. I'll be doing all the communications and outreach about this project. I'll be sending out regular construction update emails. I'll be your first line of contact with questions or concerns as they come around throughout the life of this project. Our construction supervisor there in the bottom row in the middle is Joel Ayers. And the crew lead who will be in the field every day, leading the crew and taking this project from start to finish is Dave Stevens. He's in the bottom right. So these are the faces that, as you'll see, mostly Joel and Dave will be in the field every day with this project, but as well, you may see Sarah or I. And also, we just wanted to introduce ourselves in a little bit more of a friendly way because normally we'd be doing this in person. So why replace this water main now? A couple really straightforward reasons. It's at the end of its useful life. It has had some prior leaks, and during those leak repairs is when our crews get out and they do condition assessment. They've done that for this section of water main, and they have informed Sarah and the rest of our engineering team that it's at a point where we need to plan the replacement project. It's also undersized for TVFNR's fire flow capacity. This is the amount of water that TVFNR wants and requires for fire hydrants to flow at a maximum rate. And right now, there is a need to increase the size of the water mains that are serving part of Circle A. And also, it's located in difficult to access areas for repairs. The original water main serving this neighborhood was put in with the development of the neighborhood. It runs through some areas up close to folks' properties, under driveways, and through some landscaped areas. It is not in an ideal location. So this is another opportunity for us as we go in to then install a new water main in a much easier area for ongoing maintenance and any other future needs to access it. project overview, exactly what are we doing? What do we hope to do for this water main replacement? So we're going to install a new water main for the Circle A looped area towards the south end of this street. We'll be doing a pipe condition assessment for the eastern part of that loop. We'll be working with the HOA to coordinate how that assessment goes and if we might need to expand the project. And just so you know, I'm going to pull up a map on the next slide to kind of help us visualize what exactly we're looking at. We're going to increase parts of the Circle A water main to 8-inch to water main for that fire flow purpose. That will bring the amount of water that a fire hydrant can handle up to that amount that TVFNR requires. And as well, we're going to install new fire hydrants, and some customers will get new water meter boxes. This is a good time for us to also inspect those water meters and those boxes they sit in, and to take care of any of these other items for infrastructure improvement while we're already in the neighborhood, get it all taken care of at once, and then return the neighborhood to its normal, peaceful day-to-day. So we're going to start this project on January 11th. That is next Monday. We estimate 8 to 10 weeks of construction, followed with final road paving in the areas that we dig. To be really honest, the road paving, we always leave that out because it is so weather sensitive. Typical asphalt paving requires dry weather for a couple of days in a row with temperatures that are 45 degrees and warming. This time of year, that is a difficult ask where we live. So 8 to 10 weeks of construction, if we start now, puts us at the early edge of what we would call paving season. But we will be coordinating with the HOA and communicating what our expectations are for paving once we get there. And of course, any details about this project, they're always available at tvwd.org/Circle-A. So here's the map. You'll see the homes that are in this kind of yellow color are the project's primary outreach area. These are the customers that will see and hear the impacts of construction for the most part. The red area that's kind of a squiggly line is the outline of Circle A Drive, where we are currently planning to replace the water mains. And this eastern section, let me see if my mouse here, this eastern section over here, the kind of part of the gap in the loop, is where we plan on doing that additional pipe condition assessment once we get started. We often call this potholing. We will essentially go into the other areas near this eastern loop and dig down some holes in the ground and get our eyes and hands on that section of water main and take a look at it and see exactly what condition it is in. That's, as I said, when we will coordinate with all of you and the HOA on if and when and how this project might change at that point. What to expect during construction? This is where we want to just kind of lay out what this project is going to look like from your perspective in your homes, and what it's going to be like having us in your neighborhood. First and foremost, we're going to have large equipment moving around the area. The picture here on the right is one of our large dump trucks. You can kind of see behind it a pretty large trailer with an excavator on it. This equipment is by no means small. Part of it also then is that we'll have an open trench at, near, or in front of the active work area. Typically, these trenches are about 4 or 5 feet wide, and they get dug out in length in front of the active work area so that our crew can come in and lay under the road that new water main and connect it as they go. And one thing to note about January 11th is there's typically a slow start to the first few days. You'll see a lot of paint coming down on the ground. These are the utility locates. You'll see, red, green, blue, yellow. These are our ways of knowing where exactly all the rest of the utility locations are underground, so we can plan to work around them, not through them. We'll be doing a lot of saw cutting to cut up the asphalt so that we can start digging. And we'll be doing that potholing that I talked about. We'll be locating all these other utility crossings to make sure that we're in safe. We'll be potholing to do the inspections for the other sections of the pipe. And we'll be getting just kind of used to the project, its surroundings, and making sure everyone's comfortable as we get going. One important thing to note is that the work location progresses with construction. So I talked about that open trench that's right around the active area of the water main installation. Well, as the new pipe gets installed, it then gets buried and compacted with rock, and then a temporary asphalt gets put on top of it. So as the crew works their way around the loop, you'll see them working in kind of one location together and moving each day as they go. We won't be occupying the entire area at one point in time. And we'll be having that temporary paving throughout the project and the final paving to come after. One thing to note about this is that temporary paving is exactly that. It's temporary. So if you do notice that some areas have deteriorated, gotten a little messy, maybe a little bit of a bump has developed, please let us know. We'll go fix that as soon as we can. We fully understand that temporary pavement is there to be around for a little while until the paving season opens up, the weather gets warm and dry again, and the final road restoration can take place. Now, that's a lot of information, so I got a couple pictures here to try and help visualize what it's going to be like. On the left, you'll see one of our excavators. There's a trench going between the tracks, and it's these two operators are working together to hoist up some new water main to go into that trench and get placed. You'll see in what looks like it's in front of the excavator, I think it's really behind it, is the covered up area of where the trench used to be, compacted rock on top, and inside that white bag is the new water main. These get wrapped in essentially for lack of a better term, a plastic bag to provide a membrane between the dirt and the soil and the material under the road and the pipe itself. This is a thing that we can do to help really make sure that the new water mains we install last considerably longer than what was originally put in the ground to serve the neighborhood. And once the crew is able to go through and install these water mains around the project area, you'll see what is now the picture on the right, which is more of like what we get through when we're done. This is what that final road restoration looks like. We call it a T-cut and pave, where we will then expand the width of the trench area to provide a transition zone between the old street and the new asphalt that's going in on top. And again, kind of similar to the pipe installation, it works as the team. People move through the area, put in that final road restoration. They'll seal the joints between the new asphalt and the existing. And then that's how we end up with a final project that's finished. During the project, what's it going to be like getting in, out, and around this area? So we've got the map up on the right side again to remind us of where the project area is. And the first few days of the project, we'll have some flaggers out there controlling traffic. That's going to be the areas kind of south on Circle A from the culvert over the creek, that area. And once we get onto the loop, that's a pretty narrow area. Flaggers will help us with traffic control of making sure that everyone's moving in and around the area safely. As we get into the loop, we'll be probably not having the flaggers around. We haven't fully decided on that yet. But one thing is because this is a loop, we just want everyone to consider driving the other way around that you might normally, depending on the crew's location. This is something that would help make sure that everyone's got safe space between them, the equipment, and each other, and also limit the slowdowns or delays getting in or out of your home. Drive access will be maintained, but we do advise you to expect delays. If you do see the crew right in front of you while you're needing to get in or out, please don't be shy. It's a great thing to come out and maybe wave your hands over your head, get someone's attention, point to your car, and that way they'll know, stop what they're doing, get their equipment moved out in a safe manner and give you the space. Sometimes this will mean also then grabbing a thick steel plate, placing it over the trench, and helping you with some directions to back out safely as well. This also goes for first responders. If there's ever a need to call 911 while we're in the neighborhood, once we hear or see those sirens, we will clear the area. We will make sure that first responders are able to get in or out of your driveway just as they normally would. And one other thing to talk about as we get through this is water service shutoffs after construction. There's always a point in a project where we have two different types of shutoffs. The first one is called a reconnect in our lingo. We will essentially, one at a time, each water meter is connected from the old water main to the new one. This is a pretty quick process. It's done following all quality assurance testing and water quality samples to make sure that the new water main is serving the water you expect. And the shutoff is approximately 60 minutes. I know Joel's on the phone. He's probably cringing at that 60 minutes. He would prefer to think it's 20 or less, but we say 60. We aim to under promise and over deliver. This will have a 48-hour advance notification. And as a reminder, each home is done one at a time. Each home has its own water meter. So this is a little bit of a long process. We will notify some general areas 48 hours in advance. The crew will again go home to home, reconnect those water meters from the old water main to the new one. Pretty quick process, but we will also knock your door and then take a step back with masks on, of course, and just inform whomever is home, if someone is there, that we are at that point where we're going to reconnect the meter. The larger shutoff is what we call for the abandonment. This is where we disconnect the old water main, we leave it in place, but this is a longer shutoff. This is a shutoff length of 4 to 6 hours, again, with 48 hours advance notification. Crews will disconnect the old water main and cap it off from the water system so it's completely removed and independent. This is a larger area of homes, all shut off at once. That way we can isolate this section of the water system, do the work safely, and then get everything turned back on. This is typically the final step before permanent road restoration. So as we go through this process, you'll see the construction crews come through the neighborhood. A lot of work will get done. We will go through this shut-off process, and that's usually a good indication that we are about ready to wrap up. And then lastly, staying informed. We want to make sure that while we are in your neighborhood, you have all the information that you want about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we have a project website set up, tvwd.org/Circle A. On that website, I've got a screenshot here to the right. You can subscribe for email updates. I will be the one sending those typically every other week, just with what the status is, what's going on with the project, and what's coming next. If you ever have questions, you can always call 848-3000, talk to customer service. As soon as you tell them it's about Circle A, they will likely route you to me, or you can email myself and a couple of others of us, sorry about that, at outreach@tvwd.org. That way, if it is over the weekend or on a day that I have off, someone will get the email somewhere and can understand if it's an urgent matter or if it's something that can wait a little bit. So with we want to open it up for questions that everyone or anyone might have. And as being mindful of time as well, if you want to stay longer, please feel free. We can stay as long as the questions are available, but we do understand that some folks might want to jump off now and return to their daily responsibilities. So with that, Frank, are there any questions in the chat?
No, I have not seen any, but if anybody has one, that would be a great time to ask.
Hey, Justin, this is Sean. I got a couple questions for you.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, first, thanks for pulling this together. Really appreciate it. Can you go back to the map? I just want to make sure we're 100% clear on the area that's going to be. So on this map, it almost looks like you guys are crossing the creek, but can we confirm that you guys are not going across the creek, right? We're going to stay on the I guess the residential side, or I guess that would be the south side of the creek. Is that correct?
Yeah, okay. Correct. We, that red box up near where the culvert is probably a touch long by exact measurements. You're right. We're not crossing the creek. We'll be starting this project just north of that top house on the west side there. That pipe kind of pops out from that creek area just about there, and we'll be starting in that spot.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. And I forgot my other question, but this deck, would you mind sharing with me? I know we had an earlier version. I don't know if the deck has changed since our last discussion, but would you mind sending it to me? And then I've got an email list that I created yesterday. I want to send it out to everybody who wasn't able to join, just in case they have any questions or concerns that they weren't able to address via this call.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to do that. And we'll host the webinar on our YouTube channel as well afterwards. So I can send you the link to that once we get it up there.
Perfect. That'd be great. And then, sorry, one last question regarding, so we've done a lot of work over the years. This community has been around, I think, going on almost 50 years, and the roads have been meticulously maintained. So there's a concern that, we want to make sure that once the construction is completed, the roads are back to the original condition that they are today. I know you guys are going to put in temporary and once the weather permits, a final paving solution. What happens down the road if we see some degradation in that final paving that you guys put down? What is our recourse to come back and have you guys come out and fix any issues that may not show up for another year or so?
Great question. I know we do maintain a warranty on all that paving work. Hey, Joel, are you able to jump on and provide a little bit more about that and maybe the paving criteria that we work on with the county standards?
Yeah, sure thing. We're going to follow Washington County standards in this, even though they're not going to be a part of the project because you guys do own the road. If there's any degradation or anything, we'll treat it like we would if a county inspector gave me a call and said, hey, there's a patch out here and it's failing, we'll come out and take care of it. I don't have anything written down that, to fall back on for that, but we'll take care of our assets and, we're not going anywhere. So you can feel rest assured we'll take care of it.
Yeah, okay. Because again, and I don't know what Washington County standards are, but as you know, it's a private community, and so our standards might be a little bit more than what Washington County has. So I just want to make sure that we're taking care of, a reasonable amount of time down the road in case any issues pop up.
I'll jump in and address that. We did get a pavement section from the original road that was installed in Hartung Farms HOA from the last HOA board members. So we do have that to compare to the Washington County standards. And I do believe Washington County standards cover what you guys are looking for your roadway design.
Okay, thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Sean. Justin, it looks like we did get a question through the chat. And it says, if there are sewer septic line problems like root intrusion causing the existing pipe to form a slag or belly and causing the sewer line to backfill water in the house, whose responsibility will it be?
So any concerns with the sewer or stormwater system are concerns that are best handled with Clean Water Services. That's their side of all of this. I know sometimes we do get a little bit mixed together because we do co-bill with each other, but any sewer or stormwater concerns about root intrusion or pipe integrity of the sewer or storm system is best addressed with Clean Water Services. Now, if there are any concerns about our work that could be causing that, again, that would be best to work with Clean Water Services as far as any inspections that they need to do on any sewer laterals or sewer trunks that are in question. And if there are questions about sewer systems as a result of our project, you can let us know. The email address, pull it back here, the outreach@tvwd.org. Let me know. We do have a process for filing any claims that might come up as a result of our construction. So, again, kind of like what Joel said, we don't aim to cause any problems or undue stress as a result of our projects. We'll make sure that we handle anything that comes up.
Great, thank you, Justin. We just got another question, and it says, will driveway access be obstructed only when work is in front of each house?
Yes, exactly. So, as I was alluding to, is the crew will open up the trench and then continue digging past, and then as they install pipe, they backfill it, and it really is we are able to limit driveway obstruction, I should say, just for the course of when the crew is right in front of your home. And if there are times, when you need to get out and you see the crew advancing towards you, don't be shy. Let them know, wave, give them some space, and they'll do whatever they can to coordinate driveway access as much as they can. And again, I'm pretty sure we're confident in this project, especially with the street being a loop like this, will inconvenience everyone one time, hopefully.
And let me jump in here too, Justin. There might be some work that's going on just a little bit down the road from your house, and say there's a dump truck or something right in front of your driveway. The road is kind of tight, and we might have a truck that's like waiting to go get filled while the other truck is heading out. So I mean, we really, really want to make your guys' lives as easy as possible and move out of your way all the time. The crews do a really good job of that. So like Justin just said, as long as we know that you're there and need to be, moving through that area, we'll move everything to get out of your way.
Thank you both. Does anybody else have any more questions? Now would be a great time to either type them in the chat, raise the little hand icon, or speak up.
Awesome. Thanks, Frank. And don't feel, obligated to ask your questions now. I know sometimes these questions don't pop up until you see the work starting. Hopefully today we've done a good job laying the groundwork of what this is going to look like, what the experience is going to be like. Our goal in today, and thank you for joining us, is that we don't want anything that on Monday to be a surprise. This is a really great time to do this project. This water main is ready for the replacement. It's a good time of year because we'll be then finishing it up right before the paving season starts. And we want to make sure that everyone's aware of what we're doing, and that way we can all work around each other and be safe. And again, thanks for joining us today. This is, I think, our first virtual open house for a project like this, so we appreciate everyone taking the time out of their busy schedule.
Hey, Justin, I think Mike Remmers had a question. I saw his hand raised.
Oh, sure. Hey, Frank, so one of the limits of our Microsoft Teams is that I can't see the chat while I'm sharing my screen. So, Frank, can you read that for me?
Oh, hey, I'm sorry. I'm not sure. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Anyways, I have a fire hydrant on my property. So how much digging should I expect to be done around that fire hydrant? Will just kind of be like a direct line from that to the pavement then, or what are you thinking there?
Hey, Joel, you want to jump in on that one?
Yeah, absolutely. So Mike, we're going to be putting new fire hydrants in on this project and taking the old ones out. And so it might work best if I follow up with you on this and look at your property specifically and kind of give you a better idea of how that's exactly going to lay out. But we will need to dig in a new fire hydrant, and then once we get the new water main charged and in service, we'll abandon the old one. So then we'll dig that one out. So if you're okay with it, I can follow up with you on that.
Yes, that would be perfect. I'm actually planning on doing some landscaping and stuff around there, so I just want to make sure that we coordinate that so it doesn't have to change a bunch of more stuff afterwards. So
sure,
I'll talk with you after this then.
Okay, perfect.
Thanks.
Hey, Mike, and I'm not sure if you caught the work is going to start next week, and I think the overall project was. Justin, remind me again, what was the length of time on the project? I forgot. 6 to 8 weeks, 8 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, 8 to 10. So, and fire hydrants are usually done toward the end. So that's not something that's going to happen on day one. So, I think we got a little bit of time to make sure we can coordinate this. And Mike, if you want, you can email outreach@tvwd.org with your contact info, and I can pass it along to Joel. We can set up a time either to meet with you out in front of your property, get some eyes on the hydrant in question, however best you want to handle it.
Perfect. I'll shoot you guys an email. Thank you.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, Mike, just I think you joined out there. We're going to share this deck, and it's also going to have a link to the video recording of this too. So if you get a chance, anyone else who may have joined late as well, I'll get that out to you guys today, so you can do some more research and get a little bit more information that you may have missed.
Awesome.
Hey, Justin or Joel, I think there's only 2 hydrants that you guys are replacing. Is that correct? One on Mike's property, and then I think there's one kind of between my property and Bob Spivey's.
Yes, sir. That's correct. There's 2. So like I said before, there will be a little bit of time where there's duplicates, and then we'll pull the 2. But yeah, it will end up having 2 in there when we're done.
I mean, the good one, the one on the north side is in a green space area, so not as much of an issue there as it is for Mike, which since it's on his property.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's great. This is the kind of coordination we definitely appreciate happening now and not at the last minute. You know, this just makes everything go smoother with these kinds of projects.
No, thanks for pulling this together. I think it was great. And as you mentioned, I'm sure we're going to have a lot of questions as we begin the project next week and throughout the 10 weeks. So we'll continue to overshare information as best we can. And yeah, we'll stay in constant communication.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us today. And if there's no other questions, it seems like there's not. We'll go ahead and wrap it up. And again, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate everyone's time.
Thanks, everyone.